Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. Testing, bloody testing. Oh, I need to put my hands on. I mean gloves on. Gloves on. Let me put my hands on. My hands are cold, Paul. I can't go on.
No, he's been going on all week about it being cold.
It is cold, and I think I've actually got a mild cold at the moment. I know. I do feel a little bit spaced out, and I had a massive sneezing fit earlier.
He did.
And also I'm a little sore around the nose as well, and that's always a sign. Plus, the other day I had a very tender scalp. That's always a sign for me that there's something not quite right. And there is a cold going around at work, and some people are completely and utterly something.
Not well?
No, completely and utterly...
Under the weather?
Completely and utterly inconsiderate.
Oh, inconsiderate.
In
right,
coming
yeah.
into work with colds.
I think it's actually fostered by management now. I really do. That people are made to feel guilty if they're ill.
We can't be classed in the same bracket as a private company, Paul, because we're healthcare.
No, I know
We
you
can't
are.
be going into work with illnesses.
Can't go in, no, could make other people ill.
I know, and
They
I think
may
that
be vulnerable.
I've caught it from somebody,
Oh,
but it's very mild and I can push through.
yeah, with that big nose. Yeah.
I've got a big nose.
Well, it looks bigger than normal.
Not as big as yours.
I think all that sneezing this morning has elongated it a bit.
Oh, I don't know.
That's what's
I don't
happened.
think so. Anywho,
It's like what they do on Great Pottery Throwdown when they're doing the jugs and the handles, and I think it's sort of all that sneezing and thing has elongated your nose.
Well, with that said, let's start the show, shall we? Nothing like an insult to kick things off.
I don't think it was an insult. It wasn't meant as an insult. It just looks a bit bigger today, that's all. Yeah.
I've got my ink pen.
Great ink pen.
I'm eco-friendly.
Oh, yes.
It is. It's very eco-friendly.
Sunday chat!
That's right. Welcome.
Yeah, I just thought I'd get in there. Yeah. Yeah.
So the first thing to say is that Sunday chat
Sunday chat!
next weekend won't be on Sunday.
No?
It'll be on Monday.
Monday chat!
So just make a note of it, people. We will try to remind you. We have prior commitment and a busy weekend. Enough. Silence. So welcome, bloody welcome. And we'd like to say that we're celebrating 7,000 subscribers, but I noticed that it's just gone down again.
Oh, has it? Oh.
It is doing the usual thing. You reach a landmark, you have to hold back from celebrating that.
So you're not allowed to have a celebration?
No, you have to hold back because every time it goes to that nice, you see 7,000 and then 2 days later it's 6,998.
But it's all random anyway, like we said before.
I think YouTube clears out crap accounts, doesn't it?
Oh, it does, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not quite enough of them. but it
We
does.
occasionally clear out a few of the crap accounts. I did one recently.
You did, didn't you? You got the hump recently. Somebody said something like, I think your nose is particularly large today, and he deleted the person.
I deleted them because they were very rude.
Right,
actually.
right.
Thank you very much. Block, delete. Bye. See ya. Wouldn't want to be ya. It's like the trash took itself out.
Yeah, you like that, don't you? He likes that.
But thank you anyway.
For what?
For subscribing to our Chanel.
Right, right.
And I wonder who the 7,000th subscriber will be. I wonder if there'll be a good subscriber or a bad subscriber.
Who
because
knows?
there are good Karens and there are bad Karens. Anywho, well, I mean, we have had a few complete and utter nut jobs over the years.
Yeah, we
haven't
have.
we?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Not as many as other people, I don't think.
No, we've been quite lucky. I mean,
yeah.
we do like the occasional troll, but the problem is you can't retaliate because you have to follow the community guidelines.
Yeah.
So retaliation, if it were to come from me, wouldn't follow the guidelines.
Yeah, so when Richard decided he was going to get rid of this person a few weeks ago, I got all the expletives, and it was just a sort of, block and delete, yeah, rather than you going back to them, wasn't it?
Yes.
You were just lovely, your normal, lovely, smiley, chatty self.
Yes.
Yes, there we are.
Thank you. So, let's move on to Richard and Paul's weather report. Paul, Papa Poil. What has the weather been like this week in London?
Fingers and toes again, basically. Wet, wet, wet. Really has been. Over the last couple of days, particularly yesterday, it just chucked it down.
Oh, particularly yesterday.
And I was saying earlier in the week, on a week at the plot, I actually got some strimming done because we'd had a good number of dry days.
So, Paul, before you continue, do explain to the viewers what strimming is.
Yeah, so strimming is where... So you've got weed whackers in Australia and America, which have got metal plates on them, and they sort of like cut down things, anything basically.
Particularly
vicious. We have strimmer. Well, they are. I mean, they're used over here industrially, but in sort of gardens and allotments, you generally have a length of twine off a spinning strimmer. And it cuts it down that way. So that's what a strimmer is.
A length of twine on a spinning strimmer.
Yeah, on a spinning thingy.
Motor.
And it cuts it down. Yeah. Yeah. And so I was able to do some strimming. And I'm glad I got it done because I wouldn't be doing any over the coming day because it's just too wet to do anything like that.
I mean, it was wet this morning, wasn't it?
It was.
Blowing a hoolie.
It was, wasn't it?
Blowing a hoolie, rain lashing against the windows, and feeling particularly fresh. I'm really into the word particularly.
Marvellous.
Particularly.
That's your Professor Yaffle coming out, you see.
No. Anywho.
We had that this morning, so we'll come on to why I'm sort of really quite exhausted at the moment. And I was having a little bit of a lie-in this morning, and then suddenly there was sort of like clattering of our blinds in the bedroom and opening of windows and wiping, and so it's one of those things when Professor Yaffle wakes up, everybody else wakes up. And you woke me up, didn't you, baby?
Yes, the mice on the mouse organ that... Isn't it when they wake up, everybody else wakes up?
No, I think. Oh, is it? I thought it was when Yaffle wakes up, the mice wake up, and
we're
everybody else
referring
wakes
to
up.
Bagpuss, which we talked about a few weeks ago in our show, which is called
Sunday Chat.
Thank you. So yeah, it has been an atrocious week for weather this week. Lots of rain, cold, windy, then suddenly bright and cloudy.
Yeah, I mean...
Which it is at the moment, with little fluffy clouds in the sky.
I think they're big
blue
fluffy
sky.
Clouds.
It's all changed, and there was a slight rainbow earlier, which I managed to capture for my daily vlogs.
Oh, I didn't know you did.
That's Richard's daily vlogs, available here on YouTube. Thank you.
So yeah, it's a lovely blue sky. There's quite a lot of cloud, but it is really sort of fluffy white. Yeah.
But it will change again within the next few minutes and then start raining again.
And then Richard will go, has it gone too dark on the camera? Has it gone too dark? Oh, do I have to lighten it up? You'll do that, won't you?
I don't talk like that, Paul.
You do.
I don't know where you're getting that from.
Oh dear.
So let's move on.
So what's the weather going to do now?
Hold on. I'm not sure.
It's going to be cold.
Very misty.
So we are recording this on Friday.
Yes, Friday.
Which is the 1st of March, so the start of meteorological spring. No, that's after. You can only do that
First of
before
the month.
noon.
Well, I've just done it.
Otherwise, if you don't do it before noon, you do it after noon, you're a fool for a whole month.
That's April Fool's Day, Paul.
Oh right, well I'll just align it to that as
How
well.
silly, Paul. Don't be ridiculous now.
So yeah, we're in meteorological spring now, which is sort of quite, it just doesn't feel like it really. Yeah, I'm ready to get sowing and do all various things in the garden, but yeah, too wet.
And of course, the last Sunday of this month means the clocks change and we turn to British summer time.
Yeah. Well, what are we in at the moment? British winter time.
Greenwich Mean Time, Paul.
Oh,
GMT.
right. And what's this UPVC or something?
I don't know what you mean Universal Time?
Universal
UTC.
Central Time.
UCT.
UCT.
TIUD. I don't know.
I get confused. There seems to be so many different sort of acronyms
Shush, now this isn't on the list.
now. No, it's not on the list.
Don't
more
veer
waffling.
from the list.
Okay, what's on the list?
So,
I think February is on track, isn't it? I heard this morning it's on track to be the wettest February on record. They're doing the calculations at the moment, but they think it is. So we shall wait and see.
I've done a few calculations. It's called looking outside. I mean, it's pretty easy to do, really. You know, after however many years we've been on this planet, one can gauge it oneself.
Yeah. So yeah, rather wet February. I mean, certainly at the plot, I've never known the main path that we are just off being as muddy as it is. Other areas, yes, but not that top path because it usually drains so well.
Well, that's why I've not been doing any gardening, Paul, because it would turn the lawn into mud.
Yeah, I think it would actually. But of course, the lawn does need a trim. I was looking this morning.
No, the lawn needs a cut.
With your scissors.
With my scissors.
Yeah.
Of course, that's how I cut the lawn, with the scissors.
With your scissors.
Of course. How else would you do it? Really, Paul?
Oh dear, yeah.
I don't use scissors. I have used scissors.
You have used scissors. I've seen you using them.
Only in certain parts.
What, to cut around the cyclamen that grows?
Yes.
Yeah, I can understand that. Yeah, we've got cyclamen growing in the lawn, and of course grass grows, and you sort of need to snip around it carefully.
Well, many years ago, when we moved into a rental property, when we first moved to Ealing 30 years ago, I was talking to a friend about gardening, and she said, "Oh, your lawn's probably compacted. It probably needs aerating. You use a fork." I said, "Oh, okay." So I got a fork from the drawer.
From the kitchen drawer.
And I was stabbing the lawn with a fork. That's what she told me to do. And Paul came in and said, "What on earth are you doing?" I said, "Well, she told me to stab the fawn with the lawn." The fawn with a lork. Oh, that's made me laugh. Get it out, Richard, quick. Get it out.
That doesn't happen often. No. Honestly, you'll get wrinkles and things. You can't do that.
I try not to.
Yeah. So yeah, he was stabbing the lawn with a fork. Kitchen fork.
Well, I mean, I was blonde at the time, so...
you certainly were. Yeah.
Anyway, I was probably stoned as well. In those days, in those dim and distant past days.
Not me. I've always been a good boy.
Of wonderful frolics through life. Every day was an adventure.
There we are. I actually was talking to a neighbour's a guy's doing some work on a neighbour's. A guy's doing some work on a neighbour's house, and we were talking about London in the sort of mid-80s, early to mid-80s, and we were sort of like, not comparing notes, but talking about, what we've talked about here before, it being exciting and fun and, dirty and grungy and great. Yeah.
When were you ever dirty and grungy, Paul?
No, London. London was dirty and grungy. Yeah. Oh, I've had my time.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, Paul.
I think it was one. Yeah.
Anywho.
Where are we? We're not really on track today.
No, that's your fault.
Oh, it's my fault.
You'll insist on going off on a tangent as usual.
I'll just shut up for the next
Paul,
5 minutes.
What has your working week been like? Everybody knows what my working week's been like because I've shared it in intimate detail on my daily vlogs. That's Richard's daily vlogs.
I don't know what your working week's been like.
Well, you've seen me every evening.
Well, yeah, but we don't normally. You've normally done your chatting about work.
Yeah, and by the time we've eaten and
He's
whatever,
asleep.
said hello to each other, we're both. Well, I'm asleep on the sofa, and he's doing whatever on his doodah.
Yeah, on my doodah.
Yeah.
So I have been in Shamley Green for Earth's sake over the last few days. So Wednesday and Thursday.
Oh, that quaint name, Shamley Green.
It's lovely. I mean,
Shamley
it is.
Green. Give me some other names from the area, Paul. Shamley Green, Cranley,
Rowley, Farncombe and Binscombe,
Farncombe and Binscombe,
Chiddingfold,
Bramley.
Bramley.
These are all lovely, lovely English names of villages in the Surrey area.
Yeah, they are. And I was there, and Shamley Green is lovely. It is your quintessential sort of village green.
Yes.
There's green on both sides of the road that goes through it. There's cricket that gets played there. There's a wonderful pub. There's now a wonderful little cafe and does lunches and things as well.
All right.
Lovely
That's
village
the
shop.
Of Shamley Green, Paul.
It's really very pretty, very quaint, very quaint. Yeah. So we had a pop-up outside 140 again this week. 140 in Cranley. Lovely, lovely department store. It's got a fantastic cafe there as well.
Last week.
I know, but it is. It's absolutely lovely. And once we'd done the setup on Wednesday, I actually, we were collecting bags to do sort of the shopping overnight for people and then bring it back on the Thursday so that they could collect their shop goods. And I went off back to where the shop is going to be in Shamley Green in Upper House Lane. And I started doing the packing. So I wasn't actually at the pop-up too long, only a couple of hours this week, because I was at the new space, which is being sort of developed and built at the moment. Vanessa's partner's putting in shelves, and it's beginning to look really good. You can sort of see what it's going to be now again, and it's going to look very similar in style, in different shape, but same style as it was for the last 5 years.
Well, I guess people could go on to the Google and look it up on Google Maps, couldn't they? Is Upper House Lane on Google Maps on Street View?
It's there. It's absolutely there. And if you look up, for our sake, on Google, it says temporarily closed, which we are at the moment. We're just doing these satellites. Lovely. And we hope to be opening very early April to walk-in customers.
Lovely.
So yeah, that's all happening. But it's sort of leaving here like 7:15, 7:30, getting back sort of like 8 o'clock on the Wednesday, then leaving again 7:15 on the Thursday.
Yes, but coming home to a lovely home-cooked meal.
I did. Both nights I came home to a lovely home-cooked meal cooked by Richard.
Cooked with love.
Yeah, he was in his
and a slight amount of resentment.
Yeah, most probably. He was in his French maid's outfit, ready to serve me when I got home.
I don't think I
so
was. far too cold for a French maid's outfit, Paul.
You could be a French maid outfit with a big sort of overcoat on, couldn't you? Cooking at the stove.
No,
You most probably had that big blue on.
I'm
cooking at
usually
the
dressed like an Eskimo, usually.
Yes. Oh dear. There have been occasions this week where he's been really quite cold and he's been sitting there in this hoodie, a
With
thermal on, a jumper,
underneath.
the hoodie, and then wrapped in a blanket. And I've been sitting here with the thermal and a t-shirt on, and that's it, because I've been so warm.
That's why I say, Paul, I think I'm a little bit under the weather. I am. I have a slight virus.
Oh, poor thing.
Could be
Poor
COVID,
thing.
but we wouldn't know, seeing as nobody's testing anymore.
No.
No.
And then you did sausage stew on Thursday.
Well,
so
I turned the leftovers, and the recipe is on my daily vlogs. That's Richard's daily vlogs. I filmed myself cooking.
Oh, wow. Well done.
Wow.
Yeah.
Condescending.
It wasn't meant
Seeing
to
as
be.
I did a whole series of cookery videos
You did.
all on my own,
You
called
did.
Cheap, Tasty and Filling,
Yeah.
by me, Richard.
Yeah. Richard is all about cheap, tasty and filling.
I'm very cheap.
Absolutely. Yeah. And tasty. And filling. Yeah. Yeah. There we are. Ah.
So yes, in the news this week, Paul, we're moving on now.
Oh, right.
We've heard enough.
We've gone down the list now.
No, it's very blue now with that white birch tree over there. In the news this week, hysterical, that story on that Willy Wonka experience.
Oh, yes.
In Scotland.
Scotland. Glasgow. Glasgow.
So I don't know whether you read it, but basically this company set up this Willy Wonka, Willy's
Willy's Wonky experience or something.
Willy's Wonking experience. I don't think it was called that.
Wonky experience. Yeah. Willy's Wonky experience.
No, don't stop me laughing. No, people can't see me laugh.
No.
Hysterical. When the punters got there, when the customers arrived, it was, suffice to say, not the chocolate factory wonderland that was advertised.
No.
And we've had stories like this before. There was
mainly around Christmas.
Yeah, there was a there was a Christmas one, wasn't there? Oh God, I just find it hysterically funny, these kind of things. People paying like upwards of £35 for an immersive experience which turns out to be a bag of shite, basically.
Yeah.
With nothing like.
Did you see the Oompa Loompa?
Yeah, they had actors, professional actors, dressed up as Oompa Loompas, Willy Wonka. Did you see the woman stood at the bar, dressed in a green wig, going like that?
Oh yeah, I did see that. Yeah, yeah.
And they were allowed to give out like a sweet and half a cup of limeade to each child or something. And I think clearly, I mean, I'm laughing.
Something had gone wrong.
I think something had gone horribly wrong with their suppliers, as far as I can tell. Otherwise, why on earth would you not be ready? Because there are plenty of successful experiences put together by competent event organisers around the country. So if you're going to do it, you make sure that you're bloody ready for it, you know?
But I mean, I do feel. I mean, I feel sorry for the company because they obviously had good intentions, but just didn't achieve any of them. And then, of course, you feel sorry for the punters who I think they've got their money back. Well,
I hope so.
But you know, they turn up and have a sort of horrible experience instead of immersive joy.
People have put better Christmas lights outside of their own homes than that produced, you know. I mean, they had a couple of candy cane ornaments and a mushroom, and I mean, there wasn't even apparently a chocolate fountain, which was promised. They couldn't even provide a chocolate bloody fountain. I mean, we gave away a chocolate fountain a few years ago because we never used it. They could have had that one.
Yeah, they could.
I just don't understand that. You know.
It's just unfortunate. It's just
but
unfortunate.
Hysterically funny. And of course, the poor disappointed children, we must think of them.
Yeah, there was one they said something like that their children have been looking forward to this for 6 months and they're absolutely devastated.
Oh,
and it was sort of like they only announced it a few weeks ago. And when they only announced they were doing this experience relatively recently, and when the interviewer said to this guy, but it was only announced a few weeks ago, how have they been looking forward to it for 6 months?
Well,
he went, I don't know.
Therein lies the problem.
Well,
if
yeah,
they've
partly.
only given themselves a few weeks to organise. You know, I reckon somebody went, oh yeah, we can do it. It'll be easy putting together one of those things.
And they're not.
No.
They're not.
Events, Events of any kind are notoriously difficult and complex to organise and get everything coordinated. That is the issue.
Absolutely.
And it takes a lot of energy and a lot of staff and a lot of manpower to put on an event of that nature.
Well, even when we did the wassailing for her sake last month, you know, and we were doing all of the we had the catering, there was going to be food and things like that. Even that took a huge amount of organising. It was relatively simple compared to what this company was trying to do with their Wonka experience.
Hysterical, how funny. Paul, you wanted to mention ultra-processed food. Yum.
That is part of the problem because the way that much food is put together, much processed food, I'm going to explain, which is what I'm doing at the moment.
Paul,
absolutely.
Because I'm mystified.
The way that much food is made by, you know, big industries now is that ingredients are really processed significantly to a huge extent. You know, they have proteins and fats and things like that stripped out and then emulsified and mixed with sugars and sort of syrups and corn syrups and things like that. And it's now been shown, I wouldn't say proven, but there has been research done which now confirms that ultra-processed food causes at least 32 major illnesses to humans, and most probably to other creatures too.
Well, lovely.
You know, from heart disease to obesity, to type 2 diabetes, cancer,
right.
You know, whole gamut of things. And it just goes back to really what I think we all know we should be doing, which is trying to cook as much from scratch as we can and have as little processed food as possible, basically. I mean, we do have processed food.
Well, we have burgers and we have sausages and we have veggie mince and soya.
Yeah, but
we don't have it
every
that
day.
Often. We have it maybe once a week.
Yeah, absolutely. So, you know, many of our bolognese that we did in our Instant Pot series a few weeks ago, that has got corn in it, which is a processed food. I'm not sure whether it's classed as ultra processed, but it's high on the processing, where something like sort of plain soya is much less processed. So do look at the things that are in your foods. And the thing is, you say yum, and you know, it is this, it's mixing all these things together that make them desirable and tasty. And occasionally you can get, you know, addicted to ultra processed food. I mean, I know people who eat I know one person who eats 6 bags of crisps a day.
Right.
And that you know, I said,
think they deserve a medal.
I said, you know, that can't be good for you. However, they at the moment are incredibly healthy. They do have quite a healthy lifestyle and a healthy diet, apart from eating.
So would a Cadbury's cream egg be classed
Yes.
as ultra processed?
It definitely would be.
I'll have 6.
Yeah, I think you would.
I would. I'd love a Cadbury's cream egg.
No,
That's Cadbury's cream egg from Cadbury's. This is not a paid promotion. But they can pay me to promote them if they want.
Those things literally
I love them.
make me sick.
Oh, I love them. Give them
that
to me.
bright ultra orange sugary fondant in that sort of creamy white egg white thing just makes me
Oh, you see, the first bit was really exciting for me. As you described it, I could see it.
chocolate.
And Cadbury's caramel
Oh,
egg
you
as
love.
well.
Oh, Cadbury's caramel
They do
eggs.
a caramel egg as well.
So that's got lots of caramel in it.
Yes.
Which is most probably not real caramel. It's
I don't
most probably
care.
sort of lots of different hydrogenated fats and high starch and sugars mixed together to make
Give it all
it.
to me now.
Yeah, well, you're not having any. Well, you might have one for Easter. Maybe you might have one for Easter.
Smear them all over my body and call me Hilda.
That's not going to happen.
Anyway, the one thing that I was thinking about this week that made me sort of
Scratch your moustache.
giggle a little bit. You said something to me. It's the way that people sometimes address a gay couple.
Oh, yes.
And I wrote it down because it always makes me die. Because people will say things like, and I've actually had this said to me, "So, how's your friend?" My friend? Which one? No, you know, your friend. Do you mean my partner? Oh, and then they go, oh. You know, I had one person say to me, "So who's the wife then?"
Oh, God, honestly. Yeah.
Sorry?
Who wears the trousers?
What role do you take? Sorry? This is 2024. Really, bitch? Isn't it interesting, though, how some people still, in this day and age, we're in the 21st century? Are we in the 21st?
Yeah, we're in the 21st century.
We're in the
Richard.
21st
Yeah.
century, and people don't know how to react to homosexuality.
Well, and lots of other things as well.
And trans people.
And
LGBTQIA+, LGBTQ.
yeah, but and also skin colour. You know, people. You know, unbelievable.
But
But also there are some things where things have gone. You know, people are. I think there's so much. There's so much language. There's so much specific linguistic language around. You know, types of people who class themselves in different brackets, that even I sometimes am sort of wary about what I say in case what you say offends the person. You know, I've been in situations. I was in a situation, I'm sure I said on in Sunday Chat years ago, about somebody that took offence because I called her a her where actually she was a they. But I hadn't been at the beginning of the meeting because I wasn't in the whole meeting. I was asked to attend just 10 minutes. And right at the beginning of that meeting, they went through everybody's, you know, chosen pronouns and things. And the fact that I wasn't in that meeting, I wasn't asked what my chosen pronoun was, you know, either before or when I joined. So when I said, oh, you know, Claire has you know, what she has said I think is very valid. I mean, you know, you'd have thought I'd just said something about enjoying time with her mother because everybody was absolutely horrified, you know, and I was...
I don't enjoying time with her mother. that. I
Yes,
don't
yeah,
understand what you
well,
mean,
yeah,
Paul.
no, you don't. But you know, it was a really awkward situation, and that experience of a couple of years ago has made me decide not to say things to certain people for fear that they may take offence at what I say because I say something incorrectly. Yeah, you know, so I think, yeah,
My chosen pronouns are it and thing.
yeah, quite like those.
Look, you know, I don't care what people call themselves, but I think people should be more flexible with how they deal with people that get things wrong.
Yeah.
You know, because it's a whole new world in terms of things like that now, and you cannot expect everybody to get everything right all of the time. And I think the best example of that is Eddie, Susie, Izzard. You know, I mean, they have said, I don't really care if you get it wrong, it's absolutely fine, don't worry about it, you know, it's not a problem. I don't mind whether you call me Eddie or Susie or he or she or they. You know, and that's cool, that's the cool way to be about it, because people will get it over time.
Did they clarify whether it and thing were okay?
Well, I can identify as it and thing if I want to.
There
If
we
I
are.
want to, I can identify as a piece of wood.
Or a bitch. Yeah.
Yeah, if I want to. I could identify as Joan Collins if I wanted to.
I think you
Do you
do
know what I
quite
mean?
well. Can you identify as Vera for me for a moment?
I don't know, love. Have you murdered somebody, Pat? If you have, I'll find out, you know. But, you know, that's the thing. There has to be that flexibility both ways. If that is the case, if we can identify as anything, then there needs to be flexibility in both worlds, in both camps, you know. That's the way I looked at it. Be fair, be reasonable.
Be reasonable, that's the thing,
and
be
be
reasonable.
kind.
Yeah.
That's it, you know.
Yeah.
Lovely, Paul, thank you so much. And here we are on the final segment of the show, which is, what have we watched on television this week, Paul? I can't quite remember.
Well, I think you slept through a few things, but we have
Because
watched...
they were all bloody boring, that's why.
Well, no, they weren't. Not well. The ones you slept through, maybe.
Exactly.
We have watched a new series, new to us at least, on Apple TV, Constellation, which is again about space and about an astronaut.
Wow.
Something happens in space.
Wow, I don't think it is really about space, is it?
I was just
Really?
explaining what it was.
Really?
And the astronauts are on the space station and they have to evacuate, and one is left. And does she get back to Earth or not? Spoiler alert, she does. But is it the same place that she left? So we're 4 episodes in, and I think it's coming out weekly. It's an episode weekly. So yeah, we're enjoying that.
Yeah, it is enjoyable, but a little bit deep in places, a little bit weird in places.
It is weird, yeah.
And a bit sort of like, what the hell is going on?
There was one bit, I think it was the end of episode 3. It was like, did that just happen?
Which bit was
Yeah.
that? Oh, yeah.
So yeah,
Did
yeah.
I see that bit? Oh yeah. No, yeah.
And then there's some, it's really quite interesting, yeah. And we continued with Great Pottery Throwdown, which is getting quite near the final now. I think it's the semi-final coming up, and really enjoyed that. And I mean, all being well, I think we know who is going to win this series.
Oh,
and
yeah.
if this person doesn't win the series, then they should win it.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely.
We continue with Wonderland Gothic, and this week's episode was centred on, well, it started by centering on Sir Arthur Conan Doyle and Rudyard Kipling. And it kind of covered quite a lot of different angles.
There was a lot of art and depictions of Gothic in paintings in this episode. I find it quite fascinating. I mean, the people who are part of the documentary, when they're talking, sometimes I get lost because they talk in such a intellectual way. Sometimes I just lose track of what they're saying, but I do find it just mesmerising how people who know so much about a subject can be so enthralled with it and eloquent in what they say, even if I don't fully understand it.
I'll tell you why I lose track, because what's happening is the first thing they've said I'm thinking about and trying to make sense of, and then the next thing they say I'm then trying to catch up.
Yeah.
And then the third thing they say, I'm still catching up on the second thing, and then I lose that third bit. So they do cram in too much. But that's the beauty of having things like Channel 5, Paul, where the documentaries are made for all the stupid people like us.
Yes, they tell you everything 5 times.
Yes,
yeah,
so it goes
absolutely.
in. Whereas an intellectual programme generally kind of
leaves you thinking about what they've said.
No, that's not what I was
No,
gonna
it's not what
say.
you're going to say. Well, that's what I think it does.
Generally accepts that you're clever enough to be watching this programme. And if you are, you'll keep up.
Yeah.
And that's just not true. Most people.
I think the whole series is worth a second watch, actually. Not immediately, but at some point.
We continue with Pam Ayre's Cotswolds and Beyond.
Yeah, which is always
Which
lovely.
is very light and fluffy. And who was she with this week? Anne Diamond.
Anne Diamond, yes.
Who was very famous in the UK for being one of the first presenters for morning breakfast
TV.
television, basically, when it started in the 80s. TVAM and Good Morning Britain and Breakfast Time on the BBC, wasn't it?
Selena Scott.
That was Selena Scott and Frank Boff.
Frank Boff.
Yeah,
and then
Selena
various
Scott.
other people.
Yes, she's still alive, isn't she?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I thought Anne Diamond was looking good. Yeah.
Yeah.
And she was in, where was it?
Malvern.
Malvern.
Yes. Where we went to that place that time.
We went to the Malvern Festival with Jane.
Malvern show.
Yeah, Vivi and Jane.
Yes. What fun that was.
Well, that buggy ride
The
was
buggy ride.
that was
The buggy ride.
fantastic.
Oh yeah.
That is like 5 minutes of my life I will never ever forget.
No, we will never forget that. I will quickly tell the story for those of you who don't know.
Dear
So
me.
we went to the Malvern show as guests of Vivi. She had a couple of extra tickets.
Oh, guest tickets she had, yeah.
So we went along to the show, we got the train, had a lovely train journey, it was all good fun, and we got to the show, and then it got to the end of the day.
Well, Jane Kelly was there and various other YouTubers. Jane had sort of organised
Yeah, blah, blah,
the
blah,
whole
that's
thing.
not the story.
Right.
Anyway, we get to the end of the day and we had to get back to get our train, and one of the organisers has said, look, you better leave now because before you know it, the whole site is going to tip out and you're not going to catch your train, you're going to be late. So she said, I've got a buggy for you to take you to the entrance where you can get your taxi back to the station. So we said, oh great, marvellous, feel like absolute stars, how wonderful. We all got onto this buggy.
It's like a golf buggy, like you see at golf courses.
Well, I never knew those things could go that fast. We were on the back, facing backwards.
Yeah, so going backwards.
And
Vivi
was
in
at
the
the front.
passenger seat.
And
This lady was doing all the steering.
She said, the lady who was driving said, hold on, boy, she flew at a rate. And she, instead of taking the paths, she went right through the showground. Seriously, there were people flying out of the way. There was a class of people whittling.
There was a
at
boy.
one point, and a boy.
Yeah, he was doing some
flew
weaving.
out of the way, and we were in hysterics. We were screaming with laughter. We literally
we
never.
were bouncing on the back, holding on for dear life. Yeah, I think the axle went at one point. Yeah.
It was hysterical. It was just marvellous. We had such a giggle. It was just wonderful. So there you go. That's the story of us on the buggy at Malvern.
Yeah, that was hilarious.
Anyway,
and there was a whole load of YouTubers there, and not one of them got any footage. That's what I find hilarious. Yeah. Anyway, there we are.
Well, we could have filmed it, but I mean, we probably would have lost
I think
the
my
camera.
phone would have gone flying.
Yeah, but some moments should be kept exactly as that.
Yeah, I know.
In your head.
I know. But wouldn't, we're playing it back in our head, but it would be lovely to show other people.
Exactly.
It really would.
So that was Pam's at Malvern.
I do love Pam Ayres, and she had a lovely little poem at the end. She always has one of her poems which she narrates at the end of the
Which is what she's famous
programme.
for.
Yeah.
She's a poet.
And this one was a particularly lovely one. Yeah.
We continue with To the Manor Born.
Oh, I just find it adorable.
It's such a cosy show, isn't it?
It is, and this was the episode where suddenly there is a sort of, you sort of feel the romantic inclinations between the two leads, and the fact that they're beginning to play cat and mouse, rather than it being sort of one-upmanship all the time. Yeah.
Have you finished?
I have.
Lovely,
yeah.
then it's time to say goodbye.
But what is it on Sunday, Richard?
What?
What is very special about Sunday? Sunday the 3rd of March.
Don't know.
What's important about the 3rd of March?
Is it something to do with chocolate?
No.
Then I don't care.
We met 31 years ago today.
Really?
Sunday.
Really?
3rd of March.
You sure?
Absolutely sure.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm glad one of us is remembering that date. Oh, well, congratulations. Happy anniversary, babe.
And to you, Richard.
Oh,
Yeah.
I love you, babe.
I love you, Richard. You're very special. You make my heart go boom.
Oh, that's nice.
Boom
there
and
you go,
bananas.
31 years.
Boom and bananas.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's a long time.
It
In
is.
gay years, that's about 170.
Yeah, if not longer. Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, we're going now. Thank you so much from the bottom of our hearts, sincerely, for watching and following and liking and subscribing.
And thank you to those several people who've been the 7,000th subscriber.
Yes, if you are the 7,000th subscriber, then please let us know.
I mean, the joy
There's not
about...
a prize.
No, it's not a prize. The joy about people unsubscribing or being sort of ditched by YouTube, you know, is the fact that several people have been the 7,000th subscriber. And I'm sure that has filled their life with great joy. I'm sure it has.
Bye.
Absolutely.
We're going. Thank you.
It's sunny now. It's
Yeah.
really sunny.
Shh, zip it, bitch. Goodbye. You can unzip to say goodbye, Paul. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Remember next week, there's no Sunday chat till Monday. Remember?
Monday chat.
Monday chat.
Not Sunday chat.
Come again.
I think they've all gone.
Yeah, bye. Whatever.
We can go and have a cup of tea now. Yeah.